we should disclose to our audience that we each took half of a gummy. It was like, what's the dog movie? Beauty and the Beast, but dogs. What's that one?
Lady in the Tree.
Well, I don't like that word, tramp. So I don't like to call it that. But it
Good thing
was
I
like
call it.
that, but with
Good thing I call you that all the time.
it was like that, but with like a Delta 9 bullshit gummy from the
Yeah,
gas
that and I'm
station.
really nervous. So
Oh,
I
why are
always
you
get nervous
nervous?
when I'm doing live streams and stuff because I know sometimes I'm such a weirdo. So
No! Whoever told you such a thing? I have people in my comments
everybody
saying
in
all
my
sorts
life.
of ridiculous things, calling me gay and fat and a weirdo and a loser and an enemy of God.
Whoa, at least you're not a little child.
Right. That's the worst enemy of God is a kid. Wait, where's our video file? Okay, okay.
Sorry about the shakiness of my camera, guys.
Oh, you're fine. It just makes it like you're in a Jason Bourne movie. You're kind of on the run.
Honestly, if that's any identity that it needs to be adopted, I'll take it.
I'll give you an ultimatum, and you're gonna have a supremacy. And you heard
This
it
is
here
not
first, and
going
that made
well.
sense.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to our program. Today, we're going to talk about secular education.
Oh, wait a minute, guys! I forgot. First of all, two things. One, because this just happened actually, we got a super sticker from Dr. Shemp, and we got.
Wow, I'm surprised anybody would give anybody money to this right now.
Hey, listen, but from here on out, we're earning that. We're earning that buckaroony. We're gonna be like juggling and tap dancing, but we
Oh
don't need to do some
man.
kind of tap dance. All right, not me says my life course was completely changed twice by their no university doctrine. Once as a teenager and once as an adult. Love the stream. You guys are great. Thank you. See, you're actually so
Hey.
great that people are throwing money at you and
Yeah, that's
demanding more.
awesome.
Okay, before we get to this, actually, I forgot. I made a special edit. And
Oh
this is going to
no.
be
Yeah.
triggering, I think, right? So I think that we should play that before we watch the stream, just to kind of get us in a better mood. Because
A
this is,
palate cleanser.
yes, we're going to need some endurance. And instead of praying for it, we're going to play YouTube poo.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our program. Today, we're going to talk about sex. Are you interested? Good. But first, what about the length? How many alls? You can choose a 15 or 30-year-old French lover. Nothing. I'm going to repeat this. Nothing should be more important to us than serving country. In September, we'll be busy sharing in a worldwide campaign with the Watchtower entitled Sex How. Can you think of a more appropriate title than that? Yes. Is it appropriate? Not necessarily.
Good. Worth it. You know what?
I
That's even
mean,
better now that the edible's kicking in. As my content is made to be.
it's very true.
And we do call it content. This is not like art or anything. This is corporate slop that I hope to exchange for capital in the marketplace of ideas. Okay. Well, with that
That
being
was
said,
a lot.
Are you interested? Good. But first, here are a few updates. Since our last
finally a
report,
magazine.
8 special conventions were held in the following locations.
Okay,
Ghent,
no.
Belgium.
This is actually absurd. He just slowly lists off a million locations. So here's what I did do
What?
to make that edit. Yeah, he's like, Naples, Southern California,
Rwanda, Yokohama, Japan.
It's the fucking son of scene from.
Yes.
This
Nobody
is some
reads that
kind.
part of the Bible.
This is like some kind of Manchurian hypnosis that's activating something, and I don't know what it
Truly,
is.
it kind of reminds me in Lost when that kid gets like put in front of the screen with his
Yes,
eyes
the room
open.
43.
Yes, Room 43. Yes. That's what I feel like. It's just a very slowed down version of that.
I love this. Okay, so let's see if it picks up here. I think we might have to fast forward a little bit.
Good it is to see the smiling
How good it
faces and
is.
international unity
You
of
know
our
how
It
brothers
people
and
does.
talk?
sisters as we reflect on
How
these happy
indeed. Bold words those. No, okay. I think we're going to have to fast forward.
responsible for decisions regarding their child's education
Whoa.
and their guidance
Here we go.
load of
Load.
responsibility. So each
Thank you
adult
for
must make his or her own
saying
decision on whether to
that
obtain
you loved
additional
my wife and to be
education.
yourself.
Oh, that's so
Parents
sweet.
are
I
also
just saw
responsible
that.
for decisions
And
regarding their
thank you,
Thank
child's
QC Man, for
education,
gifting 5
and
memberships.
their guidance can prepare their child to make wise decisions regarding education once he's an adult.
He.
How
Yeah,
can we
why
make
he?
good
Sorry,
decisions when
ladies.
considering additional
Actually, Christina, do you think you should be here for the rest of this talk?
No, I don't have my head covering, so I can't be here.
Go in the bathroom and like peel off a little bit
Get
of
like a
toilet
piece of
paper.
toilet paper. Oh man. Yeah, no, I need to leave the room because world secrets are being told, so women aren't privy to that.
Yes. By the way, huge shout out in the chat for Ian Booth. Wife and I just went POMO, that's physically out, mentally out, on Instagram while fam is at convention today. So glad to be watching this instead.
Woo!
Congratulations, that is actually huge.
That's awesome.
Also, Skylar Black has a great point. Is not the roof a covering upon one's head?
True, but I also don't want that kind of head covering because I would be dead.
Take not too small of a slice from the
education.
toilet paper.
Each adult Christian, and in the case of minor children, each family head, should prayerfully consider Bible principles and the unique factors involved with a certain educational program before making the decision.
Family heads, this is a man decision.
And while an elder or a mature friend may discuss with us the pros and cons about obtaining additional education, no Christian, including the elders, should judge a fellow Christian's personal decision on this matter.
I started snoring because I fell asleep during that. What even happened?
Okay, well, yeah, that's better that happened for you because I had to watch it. And he said, he put it all on the elders. He's like, hey, elders, you really shouldn't be telling people. Kind of explain, like, acting as if that's been the issue. Like, oh, we've had these nosy elders who have been discouraging people from going to college instead of like, dude, you're an elder and you make the rules for the elders.
I didn't hear any of that when he was saying it because I was so bored by his one note of a voice that it's like trying to hear somebody past white noise. Like, I'm sorry, what? I can't hear you. You're
Did
you're
someone
going too
say
slow.
white? I have some noise I can make.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
This okay, so friend of the channel Larchwood made a great post on Reddit, as one might expect, and on the XJW subreddit, which has been expanding a lot, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Rapid expansion. We sometimes hear about in the governing body updates. So Larchington says, I wonder if they will update Shepherd the Flock of God, which is the Elder's Manual, to no longer judge an elder if he or a member of his household pursues higher education. After all, Splane said no Christian, aka Jehovah's Witness, should judge a fellow Christian's personal decision on the matter. And so Larchwood, wait, no, I think it was better before with us on this side. Yeah. So, situations that may require a review of an appointed brother's qualifications. So that would be like an elder, a pioneer, a ministerial servant, but presumably also like a circuit overseer, this and a governing body member. Um, One of the situations that can cause an elder or a servant to have their status stripped of them, like their badge ripped off, like in a cop movie, he or a member of his household pursues higher education. If an appointed brother, his wife, or his children pursue higher education, does his life pattern show that he puts kingdom interests first in his life? Does he teach his family members to put kingdom interests first? Does he respect what has been published by the faithful slave on the dangers of higher education? Because presumably, if you did respect it, you wouldn't be going to college. Do his speech and conduct reveal that he is a spiritual person? Why is he or his family pursuing higher learning? Do they have theocratic goals? Does the pursuit of higher education interfere with regular meeting attendance, meaningful participation in field service, and other theocratic activity?
Okay,
Like, it's
okay.
very black and white.
I just have to I have to stop you because the more you say these words, the more upset I'm getting. Because I just find it so bonkers. I've seen so many families who have like negative like status in the congregation because somebody went to college or pursued like a doctorate or something or whatever the case is. And I'm just kind of like, I don't like it doesn't make sense. I don't understand. And the more you say these words, the more I don't understand it and the madder I get. Why can't I hear you on my headphones anymore?
My bad. So sorry. I was muted. That also happens every once in a while as I mute myself and forget to.
I truly was like, are my headphones not working or is it
I'm
just
just
is it
gaslighting you.
changed?
Don't worry about it.
I felt very gaslit.
I'm gonna see if I can find it because there were some propaganda videos about an elder's qualifications being reviewed. Like they made training videos about this. It wasn't just that it was considered bad. Um,
Hmm.
so trying to find this. I might actually have it downloaded. Yeah, I'm looking for user Dave King. Okay, that's what I
Dave King. Don't you mean King David?
want. I literally never even it never even occurred to me that that was King David, but you're absolutely right. Okay, I think I found it here. So, truly a king, um, Dave King, that is. Check this shit out.
What?
Now, and the impact that is.
Okay, so as we've discussed, this man on the left is the Sleepy Time Tea Bear, and he is actually the worst.
Brothers, thank you for considering this matter regarding Brother Brown and the impact that his family situation is having on the
Can you hear
congregation.
that, by the way?
I asked you, brothers, to review his qualifications as an elder. After we spoke, and Brother Brown had an opportunity to explain to me some of the decisions that he's made for his family.
Warmth and enthusiasm. It's my
I'm aware
counterpoint.
that you brothers
Okay.
have considered this matter before, but since then, another one of Brother Brown's daughters have enrolled in a school for higher education, which
No.
raises questions as to how this affects the congregation. When we make decisions, it's important that we consider the
He
conscience
was done
of the
dirty.
congregation as well as the elder body.
Do you think that's why his last name
Brother
is Brown?
Brown, I know this
Because
can't
he's
be
dirty.
easy for you, and it's not easy for us either. Please be assured that we love you,
Oh,
and
yeah,
we
you
only
can
want.
tell. I mean, can't you feel the love tonight?
Yeah.
As a wise song once asked. What's more loving than like disheveled, scary men talking in robot voices, telling you that because you let your
You
daughter
suck.
go to school, you don't get to be in the secret boys club
What's
anymore.
best for you and your family.
Hey, I don't
Remember,
think you
you're
should be in
among
the club
friends here.
anymore.
So please feel free to express yourself
Brother
and to
Brown
answer
is
any
very
questions
fidgety.
that your fellow elders may
He
have.
is. I think there's more that we need to worry
Brothers,
about.
we
him.
are obligated
He's
to
on
put the
uppers.
interests of the congregation first.
Brothers, with all due respect, I don't agree with you that the congregation is
This guy
disturbed
just is
about my or my
a
family's
badass.
Stiffen up
situation.
those wrists,
I've
Brother
been in the
Brown.
congregation for 20 years. I know the publishers very well, and I'm sure
Or so
no
he
one
thinks.
is disturbed about
'Cause these
my daughter's
publishers are
pursuing
deeply
higher
upset.
education.
He needs to be canceled
As far as
on
my
his
younger daughter is
gesturing.
concerned, she was judicially reproved, but it wasn't announced to the congregation, so she's repentant. And no
It
one
really
has
does
approached
look
me
like he's
Little
expressing that
dainty.
they're disturbed about me supporting my daughters seeking higher education, trying to better themselves. It's not
You're
like
free
they
to
leave
express
me.
yourself, but everything you say can and will
Brother Brown,
be used
thank you for
against you in a
expressing
judicial committee.
Let's give your fellow elders an
Dun, dun.
opportunity to express their observations or concerns. Brothers, are there any comments or questions that you have for Brother Brown?
How
Brother Anderson,
polite that he
please.
raised his hand.
The Brown.
I know. Why
It is
are we?
true.
This is the future MAGA wants. I don't know.
Some of the congregation have been
This
negatively
is the network
affected.
state.
They've been disturbed by the example of your daughters pursuing higher
Disturbed.
education. You've openly talked about wanting the
This
best
is
life
disturbing.
for your daughters. And this has given some the impression that the only way to get the best life, it's not through spiritual things, but through secular pursuits.
Wow, that's given some that
That seems
impression.
like a very judgmental statement to
Did you-
make.
That sounds like a them problem because you're stupid if you think
It
that.
truly is.
Wow.
It's so judgmental.
This one guy's letting his girl go to college. Maybe God doesn't even exist. I'm like, well, your religion has bigger problems,
If that,
don't they?
yeah, and if that takes you off your game and you just don't want to be a witness because you see that, there's that now that's a you problem.
Big you problem. We always raise our hands, Jake. Decorum and respect are always a feature of elders meetings. You know, I was not an elder, but now that you mention it, when we did the CO meetings, which were, let us little ministerial servants kind of play act as an elder, let us know what it's like to be one of the big boys. Yeah, you do have to raise your little hands. And there's a lot of strategy involved. There's different kinds of hand raisers out there. I always felt like I could kill with a stand-up set at a JW talent show, because like going after those specifics. But what I did was I said that out loud in my head, like just now, and I realized that sounds like the worst thing that could ever happen. And if anybody filmed that and it got online, I would kill myself immediately. So that
Some of
Truly.
the congregation are even confused about what the organization has stated regarding pursuing higher education.
Christ.
In fact, Sister Single's daughter is considering pursuing higher education.
Sister Single.
because of the example. of
Oh,
your
I didn't
daughters.
catch that, but Sister Single, it implies that she's a single mom. and
rear.
so she doesn't have a man head of the house who can keep that daughter in line.
So because of this, she's being excused. She could only do as much as she could, poor thing. It's not her fault. Well, maybe it is a little.
They're confused. It's like the orb of confusion is turned on the second they just saw that this girl was going to like fucking NYU. They were like, "Die! Wow! Like, what is this?"
It's insane.
Sister Single wants to be Sister Bachelor's degree.
How dare she?
Thank you, Brother Anderson.
She better not be showing her ankles
Brother
too.
Williams, please.
Oh, that was a tough call. Sleepy Teddy time, Teddy time, sleepy time, teddy bear. I don't know what's happening, but he
I think
had
it's
a
just
little moment
Sleepy
there.
Time Bear.
Sleepy time bear, and there's really no Teddy involved, but he had to make a decision as a leader here.
Not in his sleepy time.
This is the kind of decisions you
Brother
got to
Anderson.
make. Oh, look, who's he gonna pick? And we know, but
Brother Williams, please.
that was a real power move.
Why
And
did it
just
take
because the
so
brothers
long
and
for him to
sisters have not
pick?
approached
You had to
you
think about it.
about this matter
Who deserves
doesn't
to talk
mean that
more?
they're not disturbed by what they see. They understand that it's a personal decision and that's something that you have to
I
decide.
hate this guy's
But
face.
Because
still
Brother
doesn't
Brown's
mean
about to
that
be
your freeness
fucking
of speech
crucified.
is not affected. In
Upright,
fact,
polified.
the freeness of speech of the entire body of elders, as well as how successful we are.
They're
as
questioning the whole
shepherds.
operation. They don't even know who we're loyal to anymore. I mean, this is like them having to fucking kill Big Pussy because
Situation has now
he broke this
influenced how
arbitrary
some of
rule.
the congregation set that as a goal, or even want to set that as a goal for their life.
Brother Miller?
I'd like to take Brother Brown fishing
And,
this
scriptural
evening.
qualifications at 1 Timothy chapter 3.
We'll take a bucket
said
of
an
wet
overseer,
concrete.
in verse 4 and 5.
I
Should be a man
I
presiding
have
over
a
his own household
question
in a
about
fine manner,
why
having his
everybody
children in
who's
subjection
in
with all seriousness.
situations like this are
Verse 3
depicted
says,
all
there
like
should be reason.
slumped over in their chair like
Yeah.
a kid and like
It
they're
reveals.
throwing a temper tantrum.
It's difficult.
Like that's not how adults, regardless of what you think, that's not how adults act. They, I don't know. I just feel like it's a very like infantile way of creating a
Yes.
stereotype.
Yes. Oh, but wait. Let's hear him crash out. Brother Brown goes to Frown Town.
But negative. Right now, I'm not feeling it. You've been nothing but negative.
You've been nothing but trouble for me since the very start.
I recommended most of you to be elders, and this is the thanks I give. Dave, I brought you into the truth. I'm crushed.
I brought you into the fucking
I brought you
truth.
into the truth.
This is the fucking thanks I get. Everything I thought for this fucking family.
I brought you into this truth, and I can take you out of it.
You know what the fucking opposite of a baptism is? I don't know, but we're gonna fucking figure it out.
You're the youngest member on this
I'm
body.
gonna suck all the water out of your body.
What do you know about raising a child?
Brother Brown.
So
Brother Brown.
gross.
I'm sorry that you feel that we don't have your best interest.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Brother Brown.
All I can say
That's a
is
real
that we're
shame.
just trying to come to the best conclusion for everyone involved.
Thank you.
Please,
I don't
let him
understand.
finish. That way
But
we
Brown
can
don't
get
have
all
the
facts on
meetings of a
table,
varsity athlete.
and then we can move forward.
That wasn't anyone in particular.
Thank you. Andy, as I was saying,
Okay, as I was saying. So that's how legit this was. That's how serious this stuff was.
Yeah.
You were read your fucking last rites. And will and testament.
Truly. And just a piece of paper that's blank.
And then they give you a fake one that doesn't have anything on it. You're like, just kidding.
That was a practice test.
Additional education has advantages and disadvantages.
You don't say.
What can
Oh wait,
help
I
you
can
to
turn
make-
on subtitles. Now here's the sneaky that they're pulling, okay? We talk about cult tactics, and one is called being a sneaky fucking trickster who pulls sneaky tricks like a liar. And this one is that they're just suddenly calling it additional education. They've rarely ever called it that in the past. It's always been called higher education. And so now by using a new term, it kind of seems to me like they're saying, like, well, we
They're
didn't
trying to
flip-flop on
rebrand it.
higher education because we call it a different thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Additional. How about I fucking subtractional
wise
your
decision.
face off your head?
We find a good principle at
said
Proverbs
subtract
14:15. It says in part, the shrewd one ponders each step.
Oh.
Pray about it.
Think on
I'm
it.
going to repeat that.
Oh,
Pray
No,
about
please
it.
don't.
If you're a young person,
I'm
talk
writing all
about
this
it with
down.
your
I appreciate when he
parents.
repeats
Then
himself.
consider the following steps.
Consider it.
First, analyze your motives. Second, analyze what the education will
So this
involve.
really isn't that different from what Tony was saying.
No.
Like, what are your motives in
First,
doing this?
analyze your
And
motives.
like what the Elder's Manual
Ask
said.
yourself, why Why do I want this education?
Yeah, what the fuck's wrong with
Many
you?
people pursue education so they can get a job that they'll enjoy, one that pays better or has better hours. Are these
They
motives
really
wrong?
do not have
Not
any like
necessarily.
real concept of
For a
what
Christian,
college and getting a degree and education in secular field. Like I, what
Yeah,
he said is just like so inaccurate.
yeah, the way, like, the idea that somebody could want to pursue education, not just to educate themselves, but that so that they could then be an expert in something and be a member of society who contributes something to,
Hmm.
humanity, instead of being insular and keeping to yourself, and not bothering to engage with the fucking human experiment, man. Gummy.
Man,
So I hate this framing, but it's also like those motives aren't necessarily wrong. I know you might think it's wrong to want a better job, but maybe it's not wrong. Who's to say?
well, if we're gonna start going down that path, then everything about anything they tell you is arbitrary and would fall apart. They don't want that to happen.
I think this really is going to be hard for everybody, really. Like everybody who's, in their 20s or older, like who's outside
Hmm.
of school. I mean, I really wonder how my parents are going to feel about this. This is the
Hmm.
most I've had an urge to call them and just be like, you owe me an apology. And I need you to
Hmm.
admit that you owe me an apology. That you
Hmm.
made me, forego pursuing my dreams because it was said to be selfish and the end was coming. And first of all, the end hasn't come. And now it's totally okay.
Hmm.
Like, but I don't know. Where,
Well,
what good
and
would that
I
conversation do?
you have to think like the reason in my brain, the reason why they're now opening this door is, you've bred generations of people who don't have children, right? Because of their choice to wait. So you don't have enough members making more members, and then you can't convince somebody to join your religion if they don't believe it. You know what I mean? So you have these things to contend with, and I think that that's why they're opening the door to this, where people in the organization already baptized as Jehovah's Witness can then go to college and go to Bethel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that they just must recognize at this point that all the other religions that are every bit as culty as them, they let their members go to university for the most part. Like Mormons
Mhm.
allow it, Christian nationalists they see the benefit, they see the upsides to having
Mhm.
Mormons or Scientologists or Christian
Mhm.
nationalists in positions, as regular members of society. Um, there's
Mhm.
simply no downside to it, and like the indoctrination really can be overcome, especially now that there's more. There is more like conservative colleges. You can get an education that will reinforce
Mhm.
your belief in God and all that. Just because there's that's the way it's going. Um,
Mhm.
so I think that they just see that this is a concession they simply must make. But rhetorically, they're trying to hang on to basically all of the fear that Anthony Morris was engendering.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
this could allow him to pioneer or share in other types of full-time service. However, the Bible warns us of the dangers of materialism or seeking security in this system of things. If your motive is to gain wealth or prestige, not only might you be left feeling empty,
Might.
but you could also drift away
Could.
from Jehovah. Nothing, I'm going to repeat this, nothing should be more important to us than serving Jehovah. So,
Barf.
I really hate this. I don't understand.
Thanks.
Like,
I hate it.
what you're doing now is you're putting people in a really like gray area when they've been taught black and white their whole lives. And like that's kind of cruel because they don't know what decision to make because it's always made for them, and they don't know which is the right decision to make, and what's right for one person is the other person's gonna think it's wrong, you know?
Yeah. This is interesting. So Regina Lowry says JWs have carts on the college campus in my area. Yeah, I did campus cart witnessing when I was a witness with Christina,
Hmm.
as a matter of fact. How
Yeah.
romantic, and not at all cringy to think back on. But we loved it. We loved being together, and then we got married and basically stopped going out in service immediately.
Yes, it was the last thing I wanted to do.
I know. It was like,
I
God
think
damn it, this is like our
I
only
think it
day
was
to hang out.
always, yeah, and I think always it was my least favorite thing to do. So any opportunity where I didn't have to, I always looked for them. And then we got married, and I was like, well, this is my lifelong opportunity to not go out in service on Saturdays.
Yeah, like even before we got married, like my Saturday service group was like, my best friends, like, like Tim and Derry and Kobe, right? Like we would just, and Patrick, we would just like go and knock on one fucking door and then go to Super
Yeah,
Chefs or whatever. Like,
yeah.
it was not real
That
service.
literally, back home in Oregon, we would go out in service with the same family every Saturday. I think we'd do maybe two return visits or like a street in the territory. And then we went to have breakfast at this really like like it was a dive kind of, but yeah, we would just, you're not really doing service on Saturdays. So if I'm not doing service on Saturdays, why go out in service?
Yeah, and it's like, one thing that I will say is I like having the structure in my life where it's like, well, every Saturday I have breakfast with my friends, and then we like
Mm-hmm.
go hang out and do something fun. Like that's kind of nice, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to have a religious component to do that. Like it's all just kind of an
Mm-hmm.
excuse. Anyway, the reason why I brought this up was, think of the benefits from the group standpoint. If there are also Jehovah's Witnesses on those campuses and who can
Mm-hmm.
normalize that presence there, and maybe they can get little
Mm-hmm.
events going on campus. At the very least, the witness will go up and talk to his friend who's at the cart, and that's kind of good optics because if one person comes up and talks, it breaks the ice for other people. So, like, it's
Mm-hmm.
from a cynical business move. I've said it in my videos about them being a cynical business. Like, this is what they need to do if they want to succeed.
Yeah.
Has Jake's
Mm-hmm.
PR corner become too powerful?
It may need its own reality.
It needs its own reality. I think I'm making it. I think it's becoming reality right
Follow
now.
any additional education as a way to help you support yourself while you focus your life on serving God wholeheartedly.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember what Jesus said, as recorded at Matthew
Remember
6:33?
Jesus? Remember that
Keep
guy?
on then seeking.
Fart.
Safina, who completed a course to become a beautician, came to this conclusion. She said, secular studies were a means to help me serve Jehovah as fully as possible. Education had to revolve around my spiritual goals, not the other way around.
A
I
totally.
don't, sorry.
No, no, go ahead.
I don't know if like, so the last thing that he just said, he's saying it as if it's like this novel idea that you schedule your classes around spiritual things and not the other way around. Everybody in the world, that's usually how they schedule their life, is around important things. So
Yeah,
I'm not
good
I'm not
fucking
really
point.
I'm not really sure why he's saying this. Like, this is one of the most creative and clever ideas. How about you schedule your school classes around spiritual things? Hmm.
Yeah,
Think on that.
think on that. Think on it a lot.
But that's
Um,
why I'm just like so confused as to why he's saying
yeah,
that.
this is
Anyways.
so. This comment I set aside from QC Man 2000. Jake, if you wanted to pursue higher education for selfish reasons, your parents could still say they were right. Well, yeah, I mean, like, there's no way to win that argument because you're arguing with
Mhm.
somebody who believes in talking snakes, right? Like,
Mhm.
we're not operating with the same set of rules and logic. But what I wanted to do was to become an author illustrator, so I could write and illustrate books. Like, that was my dream since I was a kid, and that's what I wanted to go to college to do. And
Mhm.
I guess that's selfish because it's what I love to do, and it would be great to be paid for it. But I just don't think it's selfish to write books. I'm glad that people write books. That's like an important part of my
Mhm.
life, especially
Yeah.
when I was a kid and the ages that I want to write for. And so, like, but they do see it as selfish. Christina can confirm. Like, it's been
Yeah.
hard to deal with the fact that my parents just don't like respect that at all in any way.
Mhm. Yeah, and the letter that I got from your grandma right before I started school telling me
Yeah.
how, she wanted to go to, get additional education, but she knew she knew the temptations that would revolve around college life, and so she removed herself and started Pioneer or whatever, whatever. And like saying that like I'm gonna lose my love for Jehovah and that if I pursue school, it's gonna be school is will become more important than Jehovah and just all like going on and on about her experience. And the whole entire time I'm like, I mean, that was your experience, but so far that's not my experience and I'm not worried about it. So you shouldn't be worried about it either. It was just very like I never hear from your grandma, and then to have that letter
But
in the
that
mail
one
is
negative thing she did. And what
yeah.
you were saying the other night, well, I guess yesterday when this thing dropped, because we were talking about this, and you're like, I didn't leave Jehovah because of higher education. Just don't believe in him because I don't think he's real.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, yeah,
that's what
exactly.
they can't separate in their mind. It's like, I don't think there is
Mhm.
such a thing as Jehovah. Okay, like,
Like
sincerely.
like the two can coexist, but one doesn't need to they don't have to be, without ties. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyways.
No, you're fine. Um, but I wanted to just say before we move on that this clip was so goofy because this experience they read from his sister was so lifeless and lacking in any personality that it could have just been written by a robot.
Iris, or Iris,
Oh,
who completed a longer course in the dental
Iris or
field, says
Iris.
a longer
traditional
course in the
education
dental
may have
field.
some advantages, but it will never give you true success and
They're so
satisfaction.
afraid to even say
She
like
adds,
dental
the formula
assistant.
is simple.
Right.
Put
Specifics are the
Jehovah
death
is
of
at the
these types
center
of
of your
people.
life.
It has to be
Uh,
And
generalities
satisfaction and
constantly.
yeah,
success
because
are
they don't want to be
guaranteed.
nailed on something.
Yes,
Like a prestigious name, university.
when our friendship with Jehovah is the most important thing in our life, we'll make decisions that result in lasting
An
happiness.
invisible fucking friend. That's the most important thing in your life is something invisible.
A second step to make a wise decision is to analyze what the education would involve. Could you support yourself
Your
without
face.
further education?
I'm
Many
just
pioneers have
thinking
been
of
able to do so by finding part-time work. For example, Johanna or Johanna from
this is
Finland.
Just
such
say
a
their name. Why are you doing this? Pronounce it right.
I just feel like they are being way too hands off about this and doing a very um like they're not trying to hide that they're agreeing but not agreeing. Like you could go to college and still get an education and, use that for your service to Jehovah. But, also people who work part-time, they are able to, make ends meet the best they can, and they get to keep their love of Jehovah. Do you see like how that it's the way that it's narrated that way?
Yeah, like they clearly walk you down the path of what they're saying, but then they undercut it. They don't undercut it.
Mm-hmm.
Never undercut. Very dangerous to cows. And so they have this plausible deniability. I mean, it's totally
Yeah.
ridiculous, but that's I
Mm-hmm.
have a video if people want to go back. I'll try and add these in the description later. But I've got one on this from the New Light a couple years ago, and how when I started looking at it, it in every instance they undercut it and just say, well, we can't be dogmatic. And it's like I think that they think that this is a get out of jail free card, but
Mm-hmm.
when you look at crisis of conscience and Raymond Francis' experience in the governing body, every time they would do something like this, they would just be flooded with letters of confusion. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It really is a big change. Like, this is a really big change, and yet they're trying to be non-committal.
Yeah. That's to me, like that's why I feel like this is not a good move in any kind of way because you're leading people into a gray area that they've been taught is, that there's only black or white. So you then have to field questions like, well, how much education is too much education? My daughter or son wants to go into medical school. Is that, so then you're fielding all kinds of those questions because of the arbitrary change in principle.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they also though they recognize the embarrassing place they've been in for the past decade of having to send out these letters to elders like, hey, if you have any lawyers in your hall, just somebody who happens to have a law degree or somebody who happens to be a medical doctor. We're not saying that
Mm,
people should go to college to pursue that, but it's just like if by some divine coincidence this somebody has become a doctor and then become a witness,
mm-hmm.
they need professionals to be able to operate independently
Absolutely.
of the state and to be able to have a
Absolutely.
fully self-contained thing. Yeah.
And I think that they're starting to lose those people because of the push for, no, not having additional education. Um,
Right.
so I think that, they've found themselves in a position where now they have to course correct, and it's very clear that they made the mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, and in fact, after we get through this, which I think I just sped this up, right? Yeah. Okay, we'll get through this,
Didn't
and then
get any additional
I want to
education.
look at some of the Anthony Morris clips that I pulled.
She
Mm-hmm.
says, after school, I started working part-time in pioneering. I've had a variety of jobs, and I've seen how Jehovah always keeps his promise to provide what we need.
Now let's just be clear. It is actually impossible, I'm pretty sure, in the United States to work part time and sustain mortgage or rent. To only have
Correct.
one part time job. That's impossible. So you have to be living at home with your parents or with somebody who's paying the
Mm-hmm.
bills, maybe with other Jehovah's Witnesses who are pooling their resources together. That's pretty common, but they're not painting a complete picture.
No, they don't have a good understanding of what it's actually like to live outside of the Bethel compound. So they think that a part-time job is a livable job, which may have been the case, 40 years ago, but is not the case now. And you can just see how their perspective is kind of stuck in time.
Yeah. And yet they are so self conscious of the criticism that they get that they're out of touch. Like they keep bringing that
Mhm.
up in their
Mhm.
watchtowers and conventions and demonstrations. Like they
Mhm.
know that that's the criticism of them. And so I also
Mhm.
think this is a little bit of appeasement for that.
You and your
Like,
parents discuss
look,
this well in
see, we're
advance.
more
You'll have
reasonable.
time to research different options
But
together.
also, it's
You'll be
still
able to choose subjects at
the
school
lion's
that will prepare
den.
you for
It's
your future
still
employment
the
or
pit,
education.
and Satan's gonna kill
If you're
ya.
considering additional education, think about the time it will require. Will you still have time for your spiritual routine and family obligations? Could your secular studies leave you so mentally exhausted that you have no energy left for meeting preparation?
You gonna tap out? Okay, you want to say a little finale? Okay. Christina wants to tap out, but does she want to say a little, like, wrap up on your thoughts before you do? She's sleepy. She is actually balancing education and a job. so it's actually unironically what David Splane is talking about right now. You are too exhausted to go to the Sunday meeting, I suspect.
Well, I was too tired to go to out in service yesterday.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't make it to the meeting today.
Yeah, you couldn't even make it through the Zoom Sunday service. Yeah. Okay, well, tell us some parting thoughts, some parting shots before you go.
Sorry to like just bounce. I just started losing
That is your God-given right.
just started losing concentration on what we were talking about, and I'm like, oh man, I don't have anything to say. When normally
That's never stopped me, so I don't know. I don't really get it.
This is what's happening because of that half of an edible that we had.
It's true.
But anyways, my takeaway from this is disappointment. I think I'm disappointed in the fact that the messaging that you're using with this change, I just feel like you're handing somebody a map and expecting to know which way is north, if they've never done it before. And I just don't think that it's fair to say this is okay now, but also I don't know. It's kind of like tugging the rug out. It not all at once, but like you're still tugging the rug out from underneath them.
Little rug tug.
Yeah, could have said it better myself.
But no, you're right, and there's no consideration for the tens of thousands of Jehovah's Witnesses over the course of millions who have just decided, have put their dreams aside or opportunities for higher education. There's no respect for those people or any acknowledgement that they were mistaken. And in fact, they're basically like what they're doing rhetorically is acting like, oh, we just wanted to clarify this. This is a clarification. And it's like, no, this is just the opposite of what you used to say. That's not clarification. That's, we're going to erase that and write something new instead.
It's what cults do. They talk away the past, in a sense by erasing it with you just add layers upon layers upon layers of change, and you don't know what the original was, And I think that they're really good about that.
By the way, Christina, stay tuned for her new album, Stay Away the Past. Damn it. I tried to remember what you said. Talk Away the Past.
Yeah,
I was like, that's actually sick. That sounds like it would be like a Silver Sun Pickups album or something back in 2005.
Yeah. Hey, I'm here. Just anybody who wants
never
to
talk away the past.
It's never too late for now.
Well, it's never too late for now on this stream. Okay, well, I have, I respect you very much, but I have even more respect for you now that you were just like, you know what? I'm tired. I don't have anything to say. So I think I'm just done with this stream. And that's a lesson that I don't plan on learning anytime soon, but by God, do I respect it. All right.
I didn't have it. I mean, I had ideas, but they were not formulating, and I was like,
they were stuck on this edible shaped hazard. Yeah. Hazard. Okay. Well,
glad I can continue to impress you after all these years.
Every day. All right. Love you, babe.
Love you. Bye, guys.
Bye. All right, no, secret's out. I say babe. I'm that kind of guy. All right. Well, let's get back to our sad slog through David Splane's wild ride.
Or personal study? What about the length?
Hey,
How many months or
what
years
about the length?
will it take to complete? Ecclesiastes 12:1 encourages young ones, remember then your grand Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of distress come, and the years arrive when you will say, I have no pleasure in them. If you're young, will the additional education allow you to give Jehovah your best, perhaps in the full-time service, while you're still young? Are there shorter education options in the same field?
That's really good, actually.
Think also about practical considerations like the location and the cost. You may be able to find an educational program close to home. But what if you find a program in another city? Or what if the education requires you to live on campus? Be aware that moving away from your family poses a serious spiritual danger, especially.
So they're acknowledging he's saying basically everything that Anthony Morris said, but not being like no, because that's Tony's energy in that talk. He goes like no, I don't think so, Mister. And here they're saying all of these dangers, making it pretty clear that it would be it's a really bad idea and you probably shouldn't do it, but I guess we can't yell at you anymore
If you'll be living with relatives or others who don't share your beliefs. If you choose to get additional education, could you do so while continuing to live at home with your parents?
I have a hot take on this.
Remember the principle Jesus stated, as recorded at Luke 14:28.
I don't think there's ever going to be another Elder's book,
you wanting to build
my friends.
Does not first sit down and calculate the expense to see if he has enough to complete it. In some lands, additional education is inexpensive. It may even be paid for by the government. But in other countries, the same kind of education may lead to years of debt.
Yeah, I'm in debt for an education that I got because I was a Jehovah's Witness and had to settle for that.
The time to analyze these things is before pursuing additional education, not after we've already begun.
Yeah, and 17 is when you're probably in a space to make a decision about the rest of your life.
There's another factor.
Sign a really
the employment market.
expensive debt agreement.
Actually help you to find a job. Most important, will they allow you to put kingdom interests first? Now, suppose you've prayerfully analyzed the education itself. If you're a young person, you've discussed the available options with your parents. You've weighed the risks, and you have a realistic plan. What if you've decided to pursue some additional education? How can you remain close to Jehovah during your studies?
Right. So this is the key right here. I don't know if I ever completed this thought earlier. I didn't watch it, but I imported it into my video editor so I could make that stupid YouTube poop for the stream. So I was looking at the transcript. So I read through it to give inoculate myself a little bit from being triggered by this video. And I think this is the key here, that it's not just that he says, elders shouldn't discourage you from getting it. It's like, okay, you've gone through all the risks. Now you're on campus. How can you stay a Jehovah's Witness while you're receiving your education? And that's the signal that this is real. This is actually a real change. And I've got to confess to being totally wrong about this. I really didn't think that they would change this soon. I did think that they would change it eventually out of necessity, but not this year. I thought maybe they would wait until, not to be morbid, but David Splane died. Maybe until Stephen Lett passed away or Loesch, the older guys, Sam Hurd. I thought they would wait until that generation had passed away. And I did mention Sam Hurd. He has another name.
Mommy, when I get out, call me Sammy.
So loud. That was so much louder than everything else we've been listening to. Sorry for permanently damaging your ears with Mommy. But this is, I believe, they really did change it. And it really must have been Anthony Morris who was the primary holdout.
You'll need to follow the inspired guidance recorded at Philippians 3:16. It says, to the extent we have made progress, let us go on walking orderly in this same course. Now, the Greek verb rendered walking orderly in this same course
Greek
was often
verb
used in
in
military
us.
sense. The word describes the unified marching of
Now, why
soldiers.
do you need an education if you can just say stuff like that and kind of sound like a Bible scholar?
Neither standing still nor
Whoa, wait, he's doing his famous character. Sometimes David Splane does this I'm not gonna fall for apostate emails, not me. And so it's exciting to see him return to this, his famous character.
Of soldiers. If you decide to get additional education, you'll need to keep marching forward in Jehovah's service, neither standing still nor retreating. What can help you do so?
Neither standing still nor retreating. What about retreat to move forward?
Additional education might place new demands on you. If you're not careful, you could
It might. You never know.
Lesser importance.
College could be demanding.
Spiritual routine. You want to live the words of 1 Corinthians 15:58. Always, I repeat, always have plenty to do in the work
I think
of the Lord.
Here's another thing that because usually it's the simplest explanation that's the best, even though it's probably it's everything we've talked about, finances, basic necessity for the continuation of the group. But here's something I hadn't considered. They might have just lost this battle. Like they might have just been at a point where so many young Jehovah's Witnesses were going to college and the membership just wasn't buying it. You know, I've been out for a while now. I don't know. I do think it would be pretty hard after COVID. You know, the economy was on kind of like a recovery path, but it just hasn't been good in the United States for a while. And I think they might have just lost this fight and just kind of had to give in. But I don't know. It's like Christina was saying earlier, they've been kind of like laying the path to build up to these bigger changes. And this is one of the biggest changes they needed to make. They're certainly still trying to make it seem as scary and disadvantageous as they can.
Knowing that your labor is not in vain. Ask yourself, what plan do I have in place
Someone
to stay
say
regular in my
vain.
meeting attendance, ministry, and personal study? View yourself as a servant of Jehovah first, and a student second. A sister named Samantha said, I promised myself that if my education were ever to interfere with my service to Jehovah, I would quit school. Another important safeguard is
So that's the bargain you have to make. So are the elders able to intervene on that front and say, we think that your spiritual routine is endangered by your college education, and we think it might be time to review this talk by David Splane and take to heart some of the warnings that the faithful slave give? You know, the elders are going to be getting involved at some point. And here is another thing. When you're in a college environment, and this is essentially Rumspringa for JWs, they're going to sin, and that's going to make them feel guilty, and that is going to keep them under the boot, under the thumb of the organization. That's the shame cycle is a really important part of all of this, and I think it's going to work out probably fine for them.
Might expose you to philosophy and empty deception.
Oh,
and evolution.
Wow. Still evolution, including atheism and evolution.
It could also promote a spirit of self-reliance.
Oh, how horrible would that be?
The Bible warns, guard your thinking abilities. To guard your thinking ability, make sure your Bible-based convictions are strong before you begin your additional education.
Well, here's what's tricky, is an atheist who has no belief in the Bible would agree with that little thought there from the Bible, that you should guard your thinking ability, because it's a totally normal, unobjectionable, obvious piece of advice. Yes, guard your ability to critically reason, but that's not what he means. Sorry, it's not a game of that's not what's happening. This is just a quick note that that's not what he means.
Ask yourself such questions as,
you have to ask yourself so many things as a witness.
What convinces me that the Bible's moral standards are best? If you proceed with additional...
I love that question. What convinces me that the Bible's moral standards are best? Kind of tells you that where you need to end at the end of that line of questioning, that you are convinced. Go in kind of pretending like you are convinced already, so you can act as if.
Student of God's word. Something else that's crucial.
It's Bible.
Education is time management.
It's Babel.
May place heavy demands on your time.
Damn it! I still don't have my It's Bible sound drop.
Stress or even burnout. How can you prevent that?
Even burnout. I mean, what about Bethelites who experience burnout? I guess now they have the option to go to school if they're ever reassigned.
15 and 16 reminds us, keep strict watch, making the best use of your time. As you get additional education, regularly ask yourself, is my schedule helping me to stay
Wow,
healthy?
now it's like as you get additional education, it's just like, okay, you're all going to college. We get it.
Physically, spiritually, and academically? Or is it time to make adjustments? A final factor that will help you to remain spiritually strong is to choose your
That
associates
greatest
wisely.
adjustment of all.
If you decide to get additional education, your fellow students might try to include you in their social life. However, you need to be cautious. Although you
Oh,
share a classroom,
this is important, folks. You are friendly with people, but these people are not your friends.
however, you need to be cautious. Although you share a classroom with your fellow students, you don't share their values. And the more time you spend with them, the more their thinking can affect you. The Bible warns us about the dangers of harmful association. Proverbs 13:20 says, "The one walking with the wise will become wise, but the one who has dealings with the stupid will fare badly."
Yeah,
Every month or so, ask yourself,
really
are my
normie
spiritual
advice.
priorities still in focus?
Fortune cookie
Is my
wisdom.
schedule balanced? Are my Bible-based convictions strong? Be alert to any warning signs and act quickly. Don't let your education
Act
keep
at
you from giving
1.6
priority
speed.
to Jehovah's service. So, what have we considered? Deciding whether or not to pursue additional education is a personal matter. But remember, additional education
Those rat
can have spiritual
bastards.
risks.
No apology.
How can you make a wise decision?
No apology or
Rely on
acknowledgement
Bible
that this is a
principles.
complete upending of everything they used to say. And before we move off this subject, I would like to share the top post in the XJW subreddit right now. It's the first thing that came to my mind when they made this change. It's really quite sad. This is from the May 22nd, 1969 Awake. This is a scan of it, and it is real. This is an infamous article. If you are a young person, it says, you also need to face the fact that you will never grow old in the present system of things. Why not? Because all the evidence in fulfillment of Bible prophecy indicates that this corrupt system is due to end in a few years. 1969. Of the generation that observed the beginning of the last days in 1914, Jesus foretold, this generation will by no means pass away until all these things occur. Therefore, as a young person, you will never fulfill any career that this system offers. If you are in high school and are thinking about a college education, it means at least 4, perhaps even 6 or 8 more years to graduate into a specialized career. But where will this system of things be by that time? It will be well on its way towards its finish, if not actually gone. I mean, this is absolutely disgraceful, and here's where it gets really gross. If you look at the Watchtower Online Library, which is the official JW website that houses all their publications and stuff, you will notice that the Awakes are only available from 1970 onward. Why that year specifically? I happen to think it is because the 1969 Watchtower, or Awake, is so bad. It's so unacceptable. It's so unexplainable. They've never apologized for this, but it's just clearly wrong morally. It's clear black and white. And this is also a lesson in why they are as vague as they are now, because this is a landmine. This is a real problem for them. You know, if there could have easily been some kind of class action lawsuit against Jehovah's Witnesses for this kind of thing. And the next video on Jehovah's Witnesses I'm planning on making is about the Walsh trial, where Fred Franz, president of the Watchtower Society, and another high-ranking Watchtower official were put on the stand, and we have a transcript of it. And the court case gets Fred Franz to admit under oath that the group is expected to believe things, even if they are wrong, because unity is more important than somebody having their own opinion that happens to be correct. Pretty crazy. So this is really disturbing. I did have some more Anthony Morris quotes or clips, but I think we get the point. You can just go back and watch my video on it. It's I'll say it because I was watching it, pulling clips from it. I think it's one of my funnier videos, and it didn't get that many views. So check it out. Okay, now here's what we're going to do next. It has been stated in the chat that Heliocentric finally dropped his convention video. I'm excited to watch it because I was aware that he was making it. He contacted me a couple times for like advice, questions, like, is this going to be a problem? How should I go about this situation? And so apparently he's dropped it. I would like to check it out, but I need to refill my water. So we're going to take a quick break, hanging out with governing body member Jacob Rump.
It's interesting. So, planet Earth. Perfect. No.
That wasn't even close to being over. Not even close. That was like a third of the way through that thing. Forgot about that one. But never forget. Okay, so before we get to Heliocentric, well, let me pull up the YouTube channel before I forget about that entirely, as is known to happen once or twice. I do have some channel announcements and updates and so forth. I want to pull up Heliocentric. Okay, cool. We've got, oh boy. I mean, look at this. The first frames of this thing. He knows what he's doing push-ups at the beginning of that video. You can go back and scroll back. Christina tapped out, understandably. But we are moving on to Heliocentric. Now, before we do that, I would like to update folks on what's going on with the YouTube channel and so forth, and why sometimes I accidentally break into an accent for no reason.
Oh, happy day. All worldly complaining about YouTube.
Well, with the accent thing, that's probably just some form of autism that I haven't been formally diagnosed with. But so the next video, it's going to be on Elon Musk. You can see the book Character Limit there in the background. Oh, reversed camera, hard to deal with. There's our little boy. Let's give him a little scratchy on the nose. However, the project became very big, and it needed to be more than one thing. And so it will probably not be out till next Monday, earlier for patrons. But what I would like to do after we check out Heliocentric, I'm going to end this stream, but it will redirect to a new stream, a new Hangout stream where I'm going to do research on the Elon video. I've got clips I need to pull, so you'll kind of get some early stuff, and maybe some reactions will make it into the final video. So it will be fun, but I am very proud of the scripts that have come from this. I want them each to be better and like more ambitious, and yeah, I'm excited for people to see it. It's going to be a fun series. So, all right, let's see what friend of the channel, Heliocentric, is up to. If you don't know, Jared, Heliocentric, is an atheist. He was a Pentecostal, I think, and but he's a very good energy, like good vibes guy, and he visits churches of various denominations and does this thing called a church audit, which is this video where he just kind of gives his honest reactions. And what's interesting about him is it's very good faith in terms of, like, it seems like it's not like if Matt Dillahunty or someone like that visited a church. This, like, at least the way he plays it in the videos, but I think it seems really sincere, having talked to him once for the channel. And it seems like he wants to have a great time, and it seems like he wants the church to be good. Like, he is not anti-religion so much as he is anti-deception. So I don't know. But this is a 3-day convention. And I'll tell you right now, I told him, I don't think there's any need for you to go to all 3 days. I think you're going to kill yourself if you do that. Like, just go to like Saturday. You'll get the baptism and they'll show all the crazy videos. My voice cracked because I hit puberty when I was telling him about that. And so I was like, dude, I think you underestimate how boring these things are going to be. But he was insistent because he is simply a more diligent video maker than myself. Have I been getting a lot of non-JW views on the Elon stuff? Yeah, I mean, the weird thing is the non-JW content now gets way more views than the JW content. Like, I'm not going to stop making JW content, but I've needed a break, and I've just spent the last few months just writing a lot of stuff, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I'm trying to just follow the fun, and as long as people keep enabling this habit by watching the videos, it will continue. Thank you for the super sticker, 249 from Not Me.
3 days.
Whoa.
3 days.
We're going to go a little
no
fast.
Birthdays, no blood transfusions, no beatings.
Can you go 3 days without a blood transfusion?
That hasn't been seen since 1975. This isn't just a church on.
I hate watching David Splane in the shower. I hate that.
This is spiritual Navy SEAL.
I mean, I loved it, but no.
So buckle up, Pimos. This one's gonna be big.
Oh man, this is nerdy. Pimos.
Dear friends, esteemed colleagues, welcomed guests. Thank you for being here today. My name is Jared. I'm an atheist, and this morning I am going to drive an hour and a half down south to spend the first of 3 days with my friends, the Jehovah's Witnesses. The JW convention is the biggest hubbubaloo that the JWs have.
Hullabaloo!
I am still wildly ignorant about this group. I am still so curious and fascinated by them. Truthfully, one of my blind spots with this whole thing is that I've spoken to a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, but I haven't gotten to just be embedded in their community.
Whoa!
And I'm still trying to constantly remind myself.
Jared's always trying to get in bed.
And I want
with Jehovah's Witnesses.
So as per usual, I have resisted the urge to watch any of the several, I'm sure they're excellent, videos from the big XJW
on
what is
made
going
the
on
list.
in the convention.
I did.
So I'm going in blind. Don't know what I'm walking into.
And all my other
so come with
favorite
me
channels
for day
were there
1
too.
of 3 of the JW convention. Okay. All right. Day 1.
I bought this tie at Goodwill yesterday for $2. It came pre.
He's so good at making
videos. I don't know how to tie tie.
So this morning, I pull up to this big-ass convention center in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and have the first day of the 3-day convention. A convention is a big annual conference that gathers
Jehovah's Witnesses would be unstoppable if Jared edited their like trailer for the convention, because this is actually like getting me hyped to go to the convention.
From different kingdom halls every which way, they come and they congregate at this.
I might have blurred out those people.
Kind of
I don't know.
The schedule of every day of this conference is you watch a video, you sing some songs, you pray a prayer, you listen to a talk, and you just kind of repeat those 4 things over and over and over again. First and foremost, did I die?
He's not wrong.
Of boredom. To my pleasant surprise, no, I survived it. Granted, was I Googling and scrolling on my phone half the time? Yes. Would that be a modern luxury that Jehovah's Witnesses didn't have?
Absolutely fair.
A few years ago? Probably. The first things first. If you'll recall, I did this disfellowship thing like almost a year ago now. I tried to go and see what it would be like.
That's crazy. What is time?
Witnesses as a disfellowship
hey,
person.
that's me.
Even for the ones who did, sincerely think that I was disfellowshipped, several people pointed out that it probably wasn't a very well-rounded or meaningful experience. The hard part about being disfellowshipped is what it does to your immediate relationships. It's
that's
general JW.
That's true. There's no real way to
mother won't talk to you. So anyway,
simulate
I've,
it.
At least attempted to see what things feel like as a disfellowship person. I've also been love bombed like crazy. Normally when I go into a kingdom hall, it's like I get swarmed by people. If I go to an average Baptist church or a Pentecostal church, I'm a new face and it's like, 3 or 4 people. Hey, how's it going? I can tell you're new because you're stupid and ugly and I haven't seen you before. But when I go to a Kingdom Hall and it's very obvious that I'm a newbie, I get easily 10 people, a dozen people, 20 people. Well, hey, bud, how's it going? You live around here, work around here? Wow, that is just fascinating. And it's a lot. Today, my goal was just to blend in. And I'm really happy to say it. I did a good job. The suit and tie thing. I looked the part. I even went and got my earring removed surgically. Not surgically, but yeah, I had to get it removed. And it was kind of like refreshing to go and just have nobody say hello to you. I should mention this. Jake from Alt-Worldly.
Hey!
He's a homie, and he's been my man in chair for this mission. You know, giving me some direction.
I forgot. He asked at the last minute if I wanted to like film some guy in the chair bits, and I just like I didn't have time. Me and Christina were out of town, but he was sweet for asking.
He pointed out the one fatal flaw of my getup, and that was that I didn't have a name badge. They all had a name badge, which had their name, and then this year's convention, which is pure worship. And I was like, oh, I didn't have that. Shoot. And so what he pointed out is that because I looked like a Jehovah's Witness, but didn't have the name tag, that potentially people could think that I'm disfellowshipped. So maybe this was actually like more of a disfellowshipping experiment. Long story short, nobody said hi to me. And I was okay with that.
Thank God.
Let's talk about the conference itself. First, there's a big old countdown.
Sound off, chat. Was I right about
video,
that? Like, is that why people didn't come up to him? Because that was my thought. Like, he was really freaking out about the name badge thing. I was like, oh, it's not like a big deal or anything. I mean, sometimes people are just goobers and keep it in their pocket or whatever. They just forget it. It's really not a big deal. But you do look like a Jehovah's Witness. And if you look the part and don't have a name badge and, you know, you're not going there to meet someone, people might assume you're disfellowshipped. And yeah, but I was surprised that like the attendants didn't greet him, because I mean we just watched those training videos. They're supposed to.
There's people speaking other languages. They're
supposed to be like blowing your mind.
Witnesses from all around the globe, across multiple different continents, and literally within the intro video there is a scene of persecution, and then it has just some random Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, that would be fucking crazy.
On this note of persecution and, you know, feeling like an oppressed minority, the very first speaker gets up and he addresses the assembly and says something like, maybe it was difficult for you to come here today. Maybe you had to cancel work. Maybe you had to find a babysitter. Or maybe when you told people that you were coming to a JW convention, people mocked you and ridiculed you. Now me, when I came to a Jehovah's Witness convention, I got mocked and ridiculed.
Stop being a damn fool.
Yeah, man, even the people who like me, they were like, please don't, idiot. But I want to say that, and at the same time stress that it does still hurt my heart that these people feel like they will be ridiculed and mocked and persecuted. I know that largely it is a fabrication. It is a narrative strung along by the governing body to retain its members. But at the individual level,
note on the screen
I don't want my Jehovah's Witness friends to feel like I think that they're stupid for being a part of this, because I don't. I think that there are totally rational reasons why somebody joins a sect like this. And I will be the first person.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that maybe what I was trying to say earlier is that heliocentric never tries to make the joke on the believers, and understands that there's a lot of kind of nuanced reasons for being a Jehovah's Witness or being a whatever for all the different churches he's been to. Now, I don't know that I don't know. Let me see where he's going with this.
This is an auditorium of largely.
But I agree with like not making fun of them.
I'm not okay with anyone
ridiculing them.
All of the criticisms that I have about Jehovah's Witnesses
only ridicule
their
the
theology
leaders
and regarding their structure, their hierarchical structure. But I don't have any beef with the average Jehovah's Witness, man. I know some of them, and they're wonderful. So a lot happened today. But let's give credit where credit is due. The Jehovah's Witnesses have upped their cinematography game. I never thought it would happen, but the JWs are giving The Chosen a run for their money. The new videos that they're pumping out, I don't know if it's a movie or a multi-part series or what, but it's called The Good News According to Jesus.
I love it. He doesn't know what it is because it's confusing. Again, please do watch my convention reaction video. It's really funny. I was stoned, and so watching it back, I had no memory of anything I said.
Have some issues with it, but I want to praise it first. The sets on this, the color grade, the editing is really good. When
it looks good.
I'm sure that like the ex-JW community is just like laughing hysterically at this.
This devil is the Timo version of the most generic version of the devil you've ever seen.
For me, I can appreciate, you know, they probably can't make Satan as like grungy as they
want. I think that's kind of badass right there. I actually think that's kind of cool. And I liked his like ghost form.
Cool enough depiction. And then when Satan takes Jesus and shows him the kingdoms of the earth and says, hey, if you bow down to me, I'll give you all this. That looked like Marvel level movie. I mean, it was
no.
Really top tier. So
well, actually, yes, because I don't know. I saw that Captain America Brave New World, and it didn't look that much better than this. They were
but
snoozing
it's
on
too damn
that.
polished, and it really irks me. Their entire Jesus movie is dripping with the new personality, and the new personality, for those of you who are outsiders,
The
is
noob
essentially
personality.
this vibe that you're supposed to put on and act as when you are a converted Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
And all of the characters present in the Jesus movie are draped in this veneer, and the new personality is quintessentially clammy, awkward, and polite. And so it was especially
Oh, that's great. Clammy, awkward, and polite is so good. I'm jealous. I wish I'd thought of that.
jarring seeing John the Baptist depicted in the new personality. And it rubs me the wrong way so hard because John the Baptist is like one of my favorite characters in the Bible.
Yeah,
First and
he's a
foremost,
cool
he's
character.
white
I
guy.
mean,
and for like,
by the way, if you like my videos and haven't seen my stuff on system failure, my video on Lost is a video about the way that character is built out of several different Bible characters. So it kind of feels like an alt-worldly video because I talk a lot about the Bible. But like John Locke is like John the Baptist. That's kind of his character arc. And like as a witness, it made me really like John the Baptist as a character is what I'm saying.
religiously diverse group in America, you'd think
Getting
that
stoned
they'd
and talking
find
about
somebody who
Lost.
actually
That's all
looks
that's
the part.
happening
But
here.
outside of that, it's not just that he's like a white guy. It's that it's like, oh, this is Josh from Suburbia. It's that guy. It's perfect.
See,
perfect
he is
style.
absolutely Josh.
Collected, composed, and sexy
Um,
Jesus. And when he talks,
My criticism is that while it does look good, there's no story. They didn't build a story. They just read the New World Translation over this
And
footage.
it's like John the Baptist, as a figure in the Bible, is the one who's supposed to shake up religiosity. He's supposed to shake up religious sensibilities. He's a big middle finger to King Herod. And so it's almost like comedic, like how put together this guy is. In the Gospels,
Yeah.
he goes around in a robe made of camel's hair and a leather belt. He's like going around and eating bugs and
Yeah.
sticking his hand in wild beehives. Like he's a fucking lunatic.
That's great. I mean, that's another parallel to John Locke from Lost, is that he is a hunter who is able to kind of subsist on the jungle. And that is what makes him stand out from the tribe, and he's the one who paves the way for the Messiah
movie,
in the show.
Their depiction of him is just like, he's almost like
I can
eating a
make
Lunchable,
everything about
like he pulls
Lost.
the honey out of like a little clay jar and it's just like, Earl dinner. And it just feels so comedically sanitized. And so it's shot well, but it's like the wrong genre for this. This story is gritty.
It's like
and
too
they can't
slick.
read it as that. They're not capable of it because it
Their
makes
clean
them
robes
uncomfortable
bothered
that
me a
people
lot.
in their Bible are unhinged and chaotic and
Bible.
manic. And for me, as somebody who, in case you can't tell, is deeply expressive and emotional, I cry a lot, I swear a lot. It just is so distasteful to me. The way that this character and Jesus are just whitewashed. And it speaks at this larger problem, which is the human struggle is frowned upon in Jehovah's Witnesses circles. I think about the Psalms. People screaming and cursing at God and wrestling with this entire fucked up system is part of the Bible, and it's the part that I like. It's the part that I can sympathize with as an atheist. And then I think about, my heritage as growing up in the Christian metal scene, and there was an entire subgenre of songs.
He was
in that
never married
scene
to that
where it was
prostitute.
Like, hey guys, just be honest. Just say, God, I'm doubting you right now. I'm struggling. I'm crying. I don't know if any of this crap is real anymore. And even then, more humanly. Man, like, what the hell do you do when your pastor fails and fucks up and has
it's
sex
like
with his
folding
secretary,
laundry
your evangelist friend kills
material.
himself? All of that was on the table in my spiritual upbringing.
Oh,
You
I'm
were
playing it
allowed
faster.
to
I've
vent.
got it
You
on
were
like
allowed to
1.25.
question. You were allowed to doubt. Now, the caveat there was you always had to spin it up at the end, but at least you were allowed to vocalize it. Whereas, like, here, it doesn't even feel like you can do that. All of it has to be swept under the rug. All of it has to be, hushed. And it drives me bananas.
Why would you say something like that? He's your dad. He's your dad. Okay? He's your dad. Okay? Okay. Okay.
Just like all of this, it makes me grateful that I was never emotionally muzzled in the spiritual community that I grew up in. So let's talk about one of the other skits that was shown in the session. Across like an hour or two, they showed several snippets of this skit involving a family of three. And the entire video series is about them interacting with this kind of naughty JW family. Like, they're not doing anything really explicitly bad.
That's what
They're
they
just
are. He's not wrong.
posting on social media. They bought a new house and they got like excited about it, and that's supposed to be seen as like vain, which, fair enough. But then, of course, the big reveal at the end is actually they've been questioning Jehovah's organization. And if you know anything about the Jehovah's Witnesses, that is probably even worse than questioning God himself.
Right.
Is questioning the organization that God has instantiated. Credit to where credit is due with my Mormon homies. At least the Latter-day Saint community will engage with counter-apologists.
Yes. Yes. I've said this so many times on stream, but it's just weird that they totally avoid this space. It speaks to how the lack of confidence that the leadership has in their own beliefs. And one thing that I have been thinking about a lot as I'm writing this novel slowly but surely, that's like a horror novel within the Jehovah's Witness world. And Russell and the early Bible students are an important part of the mythology and the lore of the book. And so I was reading a lot about Russell. And what's really interesting about him is he was like these guys. He was like these kinds of guys that exist now, the charismatic prophets, because he would debate anybody. He would go and have public debates with other religious leaders. He would pull troll moves. And he was also a salesman from the time he was a child. Like he pulled out of school at the age of 10 or 11 to sell with his dad because he was so good at it. So he was somebody who was like a salesman from childhood on, and it was just this really charismatic charlatan. You can't imagine any of the governing body members doing anything like that now, but it's such a problem because the thing that excites people and gets attention is not pleasantly standing outside of a university with a cart and a sign or knocking on doors. The thing that gets attention is conflict, and modern religious leaders understand that. Please watch Genetically Modified Skeptic's new video on the way debates benefit the Christian movement far more than they benefit atheist movements, like atheism versus creationism debates. It's really fascinating, and it's hard to argue with him. Like Ken Ham, complete jackass who doesn't know anything about anything, moron. But the clout that he was able to gain from being able to debate Bill Nye, well, to the crazy Christians, well, he's a superhero. He debated Bill Nye, and he won in their eyes because they don't operate in our same reality. And so, yeah, like if any of these old guys went out there and did a debate against Dinesh D'Souza or something, they would make asses of themselves. But like they would be around, they'd be there. I mean, you don't even have to be good at this shit to gain a following. So yeah. Anyway, just shout out that he pointed that out, because I think it's important how insular the group is.
Across the spectrum, and they'll, debate atheists and whoever the hell else. There's a conversation being had there, but Jehovah's Witnesses are not allowed to do that. And this video series re-emphasizes
early
that. So the faithful
Bible
dad goes to
students
the
were
Christian
very
dad
engaged
and
with
is like,
other religions.
Why did you send me an email with an article questioning the Watchtower? And I kid you not, in this skit, he basically says like, well, I think that you really need to talk to your elders. You need help.
Wow. That's what you feel. I need help.
To my never JW friends, imagine that like a Christian is reading The God Delusion, right? That was a common thing. I read The God Delusion as a Christian. Imagine that somebody in my congregation went up to me and was like, you sick fuck. And the big climax of the skit is like, he's in an argument with this guy and he just says, stop. There is one truth. And it's Jehovah's truth. And then he turns around, walks away, gets in his car and slams the door. And the guy's still like talking at him. He's like, why haven't you read this article? And like the big epic mic drop, the big like heroic moment is the main character leaving the conversation. And that's seen as brave and heroic.
Right,
And
he's the protagonist.
and it kills me. And so I don't know if you'll recall,
It's
the
a
very
tough
first
one.
time that I went to a Kingdom Hall, they had a service, and in the service, in the Watchtower magazine, it showed pictures of what to do when you come across critical JW.
His analogy is so good, though, and it was a real wake-up call to me as somebody who tried to reconcile Christianity in some way and maintain some Christian belief in the Bible after leaving the Witnesses. I was shocked at how different all other religions are. Like, this thing where you should just instantly throw negative things in the shredder. If somebody were to hand you a book written by Christopher Hitchens, throw that thing in the furnace, light it on fire, and then scoop it in the trash and drive that trash out of town just in case. Like, that's just such a sign that you're in a cult. The demonization of criticism. It's just not normal. I hadn't even thought about that, but like, yeah. you're supposed to feel like disgusted by knowing that somebody read negative information, but like I had that experience. I saw an acquaintance of mine like kind of turned out to be a weirdo, so we've not really like had a kind of friendship after leaving, but I followed him on social media and I started to see him post stuff. I had that horrible stomach sinking feeling and blocked him immediately. But you're trained to feel that level of disgust and just anger at what something being perceived as apostate. And so you have like a physical reaction to it.
Or pamphlets or emails or whatever. And what is the protocol when you come across any ideas that are contrary to your worldview? You tear them up, you shred them, you burn it, you walk away, slam the door, you get out of there. And it kills me that the governing body thinks the average members are that fickle. That was literally one of the lines. He says to the guy who's questioning and reading, JW critical articles, you need help.
You need to talk with your elders.
Yeah.
Because you need help.
Get it together, dude.
And if you don't speak to them, I will.
There is no other domain of knowledge that's that fickle and fragile and afraid of criticism. Can you imagine if like scientists in a lab pulled a shtick like that? Like you have two biologists in a lab and one of them's like, hey Jim, those tablets of acid that we gave those mice, apparently that might not be good for them according to the data. And the other guy's like, and this theme of running away from people with criticism,
it's that kind of
by the hymn that
thinking that woke me up, because I was like,
and one of the verses goes, I do not
no
sit
other
with wicked men of lies.
Like you can't apply this reasoning to anything else. How could we possibly just ignore criticism?
Away my life with men who take delight in bribery and strife. So, not thrilled. Not over the moon about any of this, but I do still want to end on a good note, want to end on a high note. The one consistent thing that I do have to, give kudos to Jehovah's Witnesses for is family. I saw like 3 sisters in front of me, all, really sincerely holding hands during the prayers. There was a husband and wife who were, hugging and holding each other during the prayer. And there was a toddler asleep on his mom during many of the talks. And it's like, I know that I see that in evangelical churches, but maybe not to the same degree. Now, there's also a question in my mind there of like, well, is that staged to keep up this presentation of, oh, we have a happy family and a healthy marriage? Or is it sincere? And then the next question is, does it matter? So,
yeah, no, those are the eternal questions. The reality is, for some, it's sincere, and for some, it is a charade because they have a nightmare family, but they put on a good show in public. And you are encouraged to do that. It's all about the outward display in the group and how you are perceived by others. And it's the does it matter that's it's a good question. I'm going to call it a day here on this stream. But what's going to happen is I'm going to hit end, and we should be redirected to a new stream room, and we'll talk about Elon and start pulling some clips and putting together a video. All right, but before we do that, I'm going to go out on that lovely YouTube poop.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our program. Today, we're going to talk about sex. Are you interested? Good. But first, what about the length? How many alls? You can choose a 15 or 30-year-old French lover. Nothing. I'm going to repeat this. Nothing should be more important to us than serving country. In September, we'll be busy sharing in a worldwide campaign with the Watchtower entitled Sex How. Can you think of a more appropriate title than that? Yes. Is it appropriate? Not necessarily.